Hello and welcome to another episode of the Watch Before You Die podcast. My name is Brian. I'm here with Ben.
Hey.
In this episode, we have watched the 2008 movie, The Good, The Bad, The Weird. It is a South Korean remake or homage to The Good, The Bad, and The Ugly, which is another movie that we have already watched.
Correct.
And let's dive into the review of it. Ben, tell me what you thought about this movie.
Yeah, so this movie, it does things that I love. So I love foreign films. I think you can get away with a lot in foreign films that you really can't get away with in American films. I don't know why that is. I don't know why I feel that way, but some of my favorite movies are these out of the box, over the top. Sometimes they're like overly violent, like The Raid, where it's like so unrealistic, but such a good film in general. I love that film. But yeah, I thought this was a really fascinating look at a Western adaptation, just made in Korean. And it was interesting to see them try to like capture the essence of what a Western American film kind of looks like. It had moments where at first, like when the movie first started, I'm like, what am I watching? And then I'm like, oh, they've tried to like date it a little bit. So it is like it's a period film to a degree. And the more I watched it, the more I kind of got sucked in.
Right.
I thought the characters were fun. I thought the acting was enjoyable. You have kind of your really over the top, stupid, silly character. You've got your super serious bounty hunter style character. You've got the broken, dark, edgy character. It just worked for me for whatever reason.
Nice.
I thought some of the action scenes were very interesting and enjoyable.
Yeah.
It almost had a Bullet Train feel to it. Is that the name of the Brad Pitt film?
Yep.
Bullet Train, the new film. It had a feel of that to a degree, of just like outrageous fight scenes that just don't work in reality, but work perfectly for this style of film. But yeah, I thought it was quite good. There's some strange moments in it for sure. It definitely picks up on the weird aspect.
Right.
They don't go away from that at all. It stays weird. But I did enjoy it, and I have to say, before we go to what you thought, my favorite character was definitely the grandma.
Okay.
She had no major role, if we're honest, but something about her I loved. Just this like, she's not with us, but somehow she's with us kind of a scenario.
The fact that she just stayed hidden in the cupboard for all that time.
Yeah,
so great.
Very, very good. It was just very entertaining to me. I really enjoyed it. So
it's really good.
What are your thoughts? What did this film do for you or not do for you?
So I'm on the same page as you. I think I really enjoyed this watch for many of the same reasons that I liked The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is a spaghetti western, and it kind of makes these characters and these fight scenes that are just unbelievable, like kind of cartoony, like nobody could be in a fight scene with this many guns and not be getting shot left and right. Like, how many times can you miss, and how many like times are you going to bend the laws of physics of like huge jumps out of windows and over carts and stuff like this and all this. And this movie took that and like elevated it, right? So like the 1966 The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly movie was made at a time that, you know, they're doing everything they could for cinema, but this was made in 2008 where they can really push the limits. Like they can do some CGI, they can do some special effects. And some of the camera shots that they had were almost like Bollywood-esque. Like they were kind of like sweeping high definition, colorful shots, so many colors in their shots. And it was such a fun movie to watch. I was watching
like
it.
There.
Go ahead.
Sorry, not to interrupt, but right there towards the end of that movie, when the Japanese army converges, and sorry, spoiler alerts, but Japanese army converges, you've got the three main characters converging, you've got the other group that the weird guy that he's from, his little clan and everything, and it's this huge desert scene that you're taught, like it's these sweeping, incredible shots where it's like, it really is just incredible to watch. I thought it was so well done because you don't see a lot like that anymore. It felt old, but it was done in such a way that you didn't feel like it was bad. Like it has a new feel to it, but it had that old style almost like the Zorro type films where it's
Right.
like it just made you feel like you were a part of it almost.
Yeah.
But sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, you're great. So yeah, I really enjoyed the watch, and I was watching it on I believe 1.5 times speed with captions on.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and a couple of times I slowed it back down to one because I was enjoying watching it so much. I really wanted to like take it all
yeah.
in and like enjoy the scene as it was coming at me. So, um, all in all, I don't have too much bad to say about it. It is one of those types of
No,
movies that like you suspend your disbelief a little bit. You just kind of go along for a
100%,
fun movie ride. Like
100%.
I would argue like if you're going in looking for like something that's going to change you or some kind of life altering
Right, right.
parable or like a lesson to be learned, it's not
Yeah.
here. This is really just like a Fast and the Furious type fun movie where you just
Yep.
buckle up, watch the movie, have a good time, okay, get back out.
But I do believe to a degree that's why it works for me because like you mentioned for instance the Fast and Furious. I think the Fast and Furious, they know they're ridiculous, but they're still trying to pose it off like this is a very good cinematic movie that you're meant to enjoy and go home and rave about. And I think like maybe it's just the pretense of American films. It doesn't work. I
Mhm.
think when they make these style of films, especially like foreign films, they go in with the fact like this is going to be outrageous, silly. People are going to go like, "What are we watching?" And it's going to work. And I think that's why it worked for me. Like I didn't love The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Mhm.
You can go back and watch that episode. I rated it the lowest. I'm not a huge Western film person, but for some reason, this really works for me.
Mhm.
The like fake Western worked better for me than the actual Western because again they kind of throw aside right at the beginning of the movie. They throw aside like the idea that this is meant to be serious. It's
Mhm.
not. It's meant to be outrageous. It's meant to be funny, but it's also meant to be enjoyed. Like you will enjoy it if you go in with just like I'm just going to watch a film and see what comes of it kind of a scenario.
For sure.
So, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
All right. So it sounds like we haven't gotten to the ratings yet, but so far we wholeheartedly recommend that you
Yeah.
watch this movie. It was a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Had a couple moments that actually had me laughing. Maybe not
Oh,
all the
me
way
too.
out loud, but definitely
100%.
smiling. And
Yeah.
there were some side characters like the grandma and some of the people that you
Oh,
meet
the
along the
grandma
way
was
that
great.
are just fun
Yep.
characters. So really good
And
movie.
for what it's worth, I don't want to downplay it just as being a silly film. Like there was a good story underlining that once you get to the end, I'm not going to throw spoilers on that part, but once you get to the end, you'll realize like, oh, there's actually a really good story somewhere in here.
Definitely.
Just kind of covered up in the silliness and the weirdness and the overall theme of the film.
Yeah,
But yeah, let's
the film still carried with it like a mystery of where is
yeah.
this map leading? Why does everybody want this map? There's still like a
Yep.
story. It's not just like a wacky, silly ride. So yeah, it still tells a good story. So don't downplay it,
does.
just as like a goofy trip.
Yeah, it's not another Bullet Train. Even though Bullet Train, I enjoyed Bullet Train, you do get to the end of that movie at some point. Again, spoilers for Bullet Train. You get to the end of the film and you're like, all right, so that's the film. You know what I mean? Like we watched the movie, kind of a thing.
Yep.
There is a actual story to behold here in the good, the bad, the weird.
Yep.
So, but I would love to know your rating for this one, Brian, because I'm actually a bit surprised. Coming into this, I thought this is not a Brian movie. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why I felt that way. I just felt like maybe this isn't going to hit with him
Yeah.
the way I felt like it hit with me. So what would you rate this film?
So I have to be true to myself, and to be honest,
Yeah.
I didn't know how to rank this movie, but what I do
It's a
know
weird
is
one.
I loved The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I keep bringing it up, but it literally
Yeah.
is a parody or like an homage to that movie. So I loved watching that movie. This one is more entertaining, and I would rather rewatch this movie than that movie.
Right.
So I have to give it a higher rating. So I gave that rating
Okay.
a 9.3. I have to give this one a 9.5. This is just a good movie.
Nice. Yeah, this is a good movie. I thought for me, my rating might actually be too high
Mhm.
because it doesn't feel like it should be. But like I have this film solidly at like an 8.6. I
Okay.
think this is a great movie. I think, and for me, if you look at my scores comparatively, I score a little bit lower most of the time than
Yeah.
like when I enjoy a film a lot, I score it lower than the boys do. And when I dislike a film, I normally rate it right near the bottom as well. But I just thought, man, this movie surprised me.
Hmm.
One, because I'd never heard of it. Two, because it's pretty new when you consider a lot of the films we've watched. And three, it just how entertaining it actually was. Like I loved the characters. I thought they were great.
Yeah.
I just thought overall fantastic. So I had an 8.6, you had a 9.5.
An average of 9.1.
That's a great score for
It's
the
good.
film.
And mine might be a little bit high just because of how much I did enjoy the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's that's my metric. So if I adjusted that, maybe it would come down a little bit. But I stand by that. Like, this is one of the best movies that we've watched so far. Like, no question.
Definitely. Definitely. I thought I was going to have to kind of grind through this one. And then I put it on. And like you, I kind of was like, I'm going to put this on the background. I'm going to watch it because you have to, because it had subtitles. But like, I'm going to casually watch it. And then I like was invested. Like, I needed to watch it to see what was happening to enjoy it.
I know that this movie was made in 2008, so I can't treat it like it's old or anything. But it has all the elements of like a Knives Out or like like some of the, what's the name of the Secret Service one? The Kingsguard movies. Like,
the Kingsman. The
Kingsman, yeah. It has like elements of like all these cloak and dagger. I don't know. It's just really well made. And for its time, I think it's a pretty innovative movie too. So I'm impressed.
So if you are willing to trust us, go watch The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. I genuinely think a lot of people, if you give it a chance, if you know it's a parody to a degree of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, you will enjoy this film.
Agreed.
So go and watch it and let us know what you think about it in the comments.
What we do after we review a movie is we roll for our next movie. We have completed 23 movies. Actually, 24 total movies have been marked off. We haven't watched all of them, but 23 in the bag, 1,221 left to go.
Okay.
Our random number this week is 759.
See, I'm lost now on my years. I used to be pretty decent at guessing, but 759 just throws me. It's right in the middle, so it's maybe like a 50s or 60s film.
It's a little bit newer than that. It's a 1986 movie.
Oh, okay. So it's yeah, all right.
To give you some context of what we just missed, the next movie on the list is Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but that is not the movie that we rolled.
Oh, no, so close.
We rolled the movie Down by Law.
Down by Law.
Down by Law.
Just get in my office here, type it in. Down by Law is a 1986 American black and white independent neo-beat noir comedy. I don't know what any of that meant other than black and white.
I know some of these words.
It was written and directed by Jim Jarmusch and stars Tom Waits, John Lurie, and Roberto Benigni.
Okay.
And the film centers on the arrest, incarceration, and escape of jail from three men. So I'm going to stop right there, but it seems like could be decent. Some good actors in there.
I definitely know Tom Waits. I've heard that name before. Yep. I don't know that I've ever seen a single movie with him in it, but I know that name. And the fact that it was made, in 86, I have pretty high hopes for this one.
Yeah, we shall see how this one goes.
It looks like it's currently streaming on HBO Max and Prime Video with Max, and then the Criterion channel. It's also available for rent or purchase on Amazon and Apple. So
excellent. Well, we hopefully will find another gem in the middle of the rough. Or maybe we'll end up with another rough. So we'll see, and we'll let you know next time. This has been the Watch Before You Die podcast. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe. If you're listening to us, audio listeners, wherever you might listen, make sure you rate us 5 stars and let us know you think that we're great, or not great. Whatever you need to tell us, we'll accept it. Have a good one.